Mic check. Mic check. All right, I think we're rolling. Okay, let's do this. All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the Uncle Kelven Podcast. I am your host, Kelvin, aka Uncle Kelvin, aka Kelv, aka Joe, aka Lord, aka Kelvin Shabazz, aka that gap tooth dude, aka that big head guy. I got a lot of different monikers that I go by. But on today's podcast episode, and like I said, this is episode 4. Thank you for tuning in to episode 4. Please be sure to subscribe and follow us at places where you listen to podcasts. On today's episode, I got a special guest. I got a special guest here. I'm not gonna waste any time because this guy's busy. I'm just happy he showed up. Give it up for my main man, Big Kelv. Big Kelv.
Who?
Yes, that's also me. Big Kelv is also Uncle Kelvin is Big Kelv, and I'm a bachelor. And because I'm a bachelor, I have a few people that try to introduce me to different women. I have male friends that try to introduce me to women. I have female friends that try to introduce me to women. And I'm flattered, by all means. Don't get me wrong. I am flattered. And I'm not the most handsome guy in the world. I'm no Rick Fox. Hell, I'm no Red Fox.
This is a big one. I'm coming.
I'm not even Michael J. Fox.
Holy shit.
That brings me to this. There was a situation once where a family member of mine contacted me on the phone. He called me. He was like, hey, man. Like I said, I'm going to change names. I'm not like most people that give names. But the family member called me on the phone. He said, hey, man, I'm like, no, man. He called, but I didn't answer the phone. Why didn't you answer the phone? Because I don't speak to Clifford. Clifford is a friend of yours. He's not a friend of mine. There's nothing that he could really want to talk to me about. He could have texted. That's why I was probably waiting for him to text back. He's like, oh, man, you need to call me, man. You got some good news for me? Okay, bet. I like good news, especially good news for me. So I called him up on the phone, like, Cliff, what's happening? Hey, man, you remember that girl we met a couple years ago? Nope, don't remember. Nope, don't remember at all. Oh, well, here's her Instagram name. Look up on Instagram. She's in town. She's looking to go out, you know. And I know you're single, so you guys might hit it off. Now, I'm thinking, I'm like, so I obviously met this girl before because he said that we had all met. So I go to her Instagram page, and immediately I click on it, then I click off, and I'm like, this fucking guy doesn't even fucking know me. What would make him think that I would, and like I said, I'm not talking about anybody because I'm not the most handsomest guy in the world, but what would make him think that I would want this person? And not, she probably was as sweet as cotton candy. Because they always say they're sweet. Every time someone ever hooks me up, oh, she's so nice. You know, so, but this guy tried to introduce me to this young lady, and she just wasn't my type. And I'm thinking, this guy really doesn't know my type. He's seen me with women before, so he should know that that's not the kind of women that he's ever seen me with. But I'm thinking maybe he just, that's what he likes. A buddy of mine once told me, he was like, hey man, never hook up somebody with a person that you wouldn't date. I'm like, that's a good piece of advice, you know. And I live by that. I wouldn't hook up anybody with somebody I wouldn't date. So in turn, when people try to hook me up, at least guys, when they try to hook me up with women that are not like, you know, and I'm looking like, okay, well, this is the type of woman that you like. So, but it also goes on both sides because women try to hook me up and that turns out like super crazy. A female contacted me recently and she said, Kelvin, I got a friend of mine and she wants to meet you. I'm like, how does she want to meet me? She's never met me before. She was like, no, because she's a good friend of mine. She's a really good girl. And one day we were sitting around talking and all the guys she's ever been with have been trash. And the first person I thought of was you. So all the guys she was dating is trash, and the first person you thought of was me. Oh no, I didn't mean it like that. I'm like, I don't know how to take it, you know. She was like, yeah, you know, she's been in really bad relationships. Her last boyfriend was real abusive. I'm like, whoa. Who you think you are, Don King, Butch Lewis? I'm not trying to fight nobody. You're trying to set up a fight. This guy's violent. I don't want to do anything with anybody who has a violent person around them. That's not my forte. I work out, yes. I go to the gym, yes. I have show muscles. My muscles are for show. I'm not trying to fight anybody. I'm not trying to fight anyone at all. So I see that a lot of the bars are starting to open back up. That's what brings me around to this whole dating thing. So a lot of the bars are starting to open back up. And my problem with bars is the people that say they're gonna buy you a drink and then they don't buy you a drink. I'll give you an example. I knew a guy. He would come into the bar. He would say, hey, what you drinking? What are you drinking? What are you drinking? Hey, what you drinking? What are you drinking? What are you drinking? Hey, what you drinking? What are you drinking? What are you drinking? Hey, what you drinking? What are you drinking? What are you drinking? He would order everybody's drinks and his own and wouldn't pay for them. It was like he was taking orders, but he wouldn't pay for the liquor. That was the craziest shit in the world to me. He was so bold with it, too. He was very bold. So the whole bar scene, I like bars. I just don't like crowded and busy bars. I like my little dive bars, 4 or 5 people, something like that. This was like before pandemic. I didn't like crowded bars. Now I definitely don't like crowded bars. And it's because in a crowded bar, I think it's sort of harder to not really talk to women, but to get their full undivided attention. To get their full undivided attention is sort of hard in a crowded bar. In a small bar where there's not too many people, she'll pay attention to everything you're saying. So allow me to switch topics real quick. Today I was thinking about a buddy of mine. I used to call him the Kissing Bandit. We used to work together at a casino. The reason I call him the Kissing Bandit is because every time he would see any female employee, he would come up to them and kiss them square on the lips.
Bruh.
And the women wouldn't even expect it coming. They would think he would maybe come for a hug or something, because he was real touchy-feely. I was wondering, man, what is wrong with this guy? His sex drive must be on 1 million or something. But a buddy of mine told me, no, man, he's from Puerto Rico, and that's how they do it in Puerto Rico. They're real, from the island, they're real, familiar and touchy-feely. But I'm trying to talk to him and let him know, hey, man, that shit don't fly here. But he wouldn't listen. He would still every day, hey, mommy, give me a kiss, mommy. And he would do this shit. And it got to the point where he was called into the office 3 separate occasions by 3 different women, claiming that he would come up to them and kiss them on the lips. So they told him, hey, listen, man, we understand you're just a nice guy trying to be a nice guy, but we cannot have you kissing women on the lips. Oh, no problem, mommy. Okay, first of all, I'm the manager. My name is Melissa. You shouldn't call me mommy. Oh, I call everybody mommy. No, don't call me mommy. Call me Melissa. Okay, Melissa. See you later. The guy was like a human Pepe Le Pew.
Guess who?
So no sooner did they pull up into the office and tell him that he can't go around and sexually maul women anymore. His first break, what does he do? He goes into the smoking break room and proceeds to give a woman an unwarranted back rub. He was terminated that same day. So, was it because he couldn't handle his sexual desires, or was it because as a society where he was from, it was okay to just grope women?
I'm not a player, I just fuck a lot.
I don't know. I've never been to Puerto Rico. I know a few Puerto Ricans, but that seemed pretty odd. And one last thing before I get ready to let you guys go, I appreciate you for tuning in. One last thing. In one of my many jobs, I have many jobs.
Shoe salesman, woman instructor.
In one of my many jobs, I'm a building manager. And I have to, check on the building and things of that nature. And there's one office building that I have to check on. And every day there is food in the bathroom. Like there's a empty pop bottle, McDonald's bag, KFC box. Which brings me to this. Who eats food in the bathroom? I for the life of me, I can't understand who would want to, or why would it be necessary, especially in an office building, for it to be necessary to take your food from wherever you was eating it at, like in the break room or whatever, and say, this is delicious. Let me go finish this in the shitter. I know the person that's eating food in the bathroom in the building that I manage is not going to listen to this podcast. But if you are a person that eats your food in the shitter and you listening to this podcast, please stop. Please. For so many reasons, please stop. All right, everybody. That's it for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please subscribe to the Uncle Kelven Podcast. I'd like to thank my guest, Big Kelv. He'll be back again. A lot of the things he says I agree with, and some of the things he says I don't agree with. How about that? Some of the things that Big Kelv say, Uncle Kelven doesn't agree with. And some of the things that Uncle Kelven says, Kelven doesn't agree with. And some of the things that Kelven says, Kelv doesn't agree with. And all of the things I say, my mother doesn't agree with any of it. So, thank you guys for tuning in. I will see or talk to you soon. I won't see you guys unless you know what I mean, if you know me, you be like, hey man, I listened to the podcast, then I'll be able to tell if you did. But until then, I'm out of here.